All right, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to be talking about my blueprint method and exactly how I was able to get jacked and in great shape while working 12 8-hour days. Like I was constantly working all the time and I'm still able to make this work, no problem. So let's get into it. I'm going to put you through some games. So grab a pen, pencil, notepad, whatever you need. Take some note down. Okay, so first things first, blue collar fitness blueprint. This is built for people that are working 8 to 12 hour days and they don't feel like tracking calories or going to the gym for hours upon hours. Because I honestly don't, and I honestly don't have time for that or the need to even go for that long. Okay, so I break it down here on my Miro board into 4 different phases, 4 different things that you have to learn and pillars to be able to succeed within your fitness journey. All right, so first things first, before we get into that, we're gonna talk about why actually most blue collar guys stay out of shape and fail, and they just entirely end up giving up, okay? So first things first, this breaks down into a couple of different points and I'm gonna break down exactly each one. So in the middle of this whole thing is not having a structured plan. If you don't have a structured plan and you're just kind of winging it and going throughout your life, going to work, coming back, maybe hitting the gym, maybe eating some protein here and there, it's never gonna work, okay? Work doesn't even work like that. You have a foreman, you have a boss, manager, there's different moving parts and each part has its purpose, and that's exactly how this works. So you can't just wing it. You're not going into work and winging whatever you're doing, okay? So first things first, the long shifts, I get it. You're working 8, 12-hour days. You don't want to do anything, and that comes with being able to time management and having different pillars to help you out to succeed. So I've been there and I'm still in that situation where I'm having long shifts and I don't feel like doing anything after. That happens, we're all human, but we're going to talk about exactly how to prevent that and how to be more time efficient and still have energy at the end of the day to even hit a workout. Okay, so long shifts kind of goes along with your body's tired. So these two kind of go in hand, being tired all the time and just working all the time and just not having the mental capacity to even want to drive out to the gym, especially because I live in Canada, literally just had like 6-7 inches of snow, and who wants to go out there after just working all fucking day dealing with bad stuff, okay? So after being tired, this is a constant cycle. So we're constantly going through this cycle leading us back into the middle. So next one is eating whatever. So after your shift, you're tired, you don't feel like cooking, you're just gonna eat whatever. Even I know I've been there going to the gas station, just grab literally whatever, bag of chips, some Smarties, something like that. All I want to do is literally fill my stomach. I even had hot dogs, taquitos, things like that. All I'm trying to do is literally fill my stomach and kill that hunger. I'm literally at work, especially during the day or a quick lunch break. I'm not feeling like having a meal prep. That's not who I am, and that's not what I'm telling you guys to do either. Okay. And to be honest, this is probably the biggest one, the weekend drinking. The weekend drinking is actually killing your gains. So I know working blue collar that every weekend, my buddies, my crew, we would all gather up, be like, let's go for drinks. One drink turned into like 5. Next thing we know, we're blacking out. And then next week hits again and I see that group chat spamming again, boom, happens again. And that literally sets you back up so much that you don't actually understand. This is literally killing the progress. So 5 out of 7 days is literally killing the progress. So if you're locked in Monday to Friday, but as soon as Saturday, Sunday hits, or even that Friday, 4 to 7 days, you are in a terrible percentage. If you were to go and do the percentages and see what you got on your math test and you got 4 to 7, that is barely a passing grade. So those 4 days is not enough, and going out and drinking with your buddies is honestly ruining all of that. Okay, so that brings me on to my next point. So not having enough time. So a lot of guys come home and because you just worked all day, you literally don't have enough time to actually physically go to the gym. Some have children, some have other projects going on, some even have different jobs. And I understand that. I'm in the same boat. I have my coaching business and I go to work every single day. So I'm exhausted coming back home and I don't have enough time, okay? So sometimes I'm not physically there to want to and try and go to the gym. And the last excuse that I hear a lot that brings you back into that cycle, never-ending cycle, going around into the middle, is you start when it slows down. I know everyone has a busy season. For me in Canada, it's in the summer. Summertime is when work is popping. There's always stuff to fix and there's always stuff to do in the summer. And I know going into the winter, there's a lot of layovers and it just slows down, but that cannot be your excuse because this is going to be a constant cycle. There's always the seasons moving through time. So if you're just waiting for that perfect time, it's never going to happen. The perfect time is now when you're starting today, okay? So after we covered everything you're doing wrong, let's cover how to fix each and every single one of them. So the first things first, let's start with minimum effective training. So I put in the word effective there because you want to be in and out of the gym. I'm not there for 2 hours to get the best body of my life. That's very unrealistic, and I honestly don't even want to be there 2 hours. I really want to be at work for 8 hours. Why would I come home and do something else for 2 hours? So that's not the way I run things. So the goal here is to get strong without actually burning yourself out because you're already tired and you need to get things done. So the way I would break my structure into training is I would train 3 to 4 times a week max. And that's if you can get that training in. 3 is very good to make enough progress. Before, if you truly want to lock everything in, I would go for 4 days. And 45 minutes or less. So I'm honestly only in the gym for 45 minutes, even less sometimes. Again, like I mentioned, the whole point is to be in and out. I'm going in there effective. I'm hitting what I'm supposed to hit, and I'm back out the door. I ain't being any longer than I actually need to be. So the way to do this is actually just hit 3 to 4 compound lifts. So I want you guys to try and hit upper, lower. So Monday is upper, Tuesday is lower, then you rest on Wednesday, Thursday you hit upper again, and Friday you hit lower, and then you rest on the weekends and do whatever you have to do. So the way to be able to do this is hitting 3 to 5 compound lifts. So on my upper days, I might be hitting some upper body. So I'm hitting some chest, things like that, maybe some shoulders, and then some arms and triceps. So biceps and triceps, some isolation movements. For bench, I can do an inclined. Shoulders would be any type of shoulder press movement using a machine and things like that. Maybe even some dumbbell ladder raises, cable ladder raises, small things like that. So it's some compound lifts and then some isolation. So for my biceps, there's normal bicep curls, cable curls, and triceps. Same overhead tricep extensions, normal tricep extensions, things like that. Keep it simple, but keep it effective. So for legs, you want to hit your full leg day. So I'm hitting a leg press, some sort of Bulgarian split squats. I'm hitting my leg curls, leg extensions, things like that. Just keep it simple, 45 minutes, 3 to 5 compound lifts. And the most important tip is, you might not care now, but start writing your lifts down. So if on Tuesday I did bench for 135 or 10, I'm writing that shit down. I'm writing that down, okay? So then next week when I try and hit that same program again, I know exactly what I did. A lot of you guys are just winging this. So I'm like, I think I hit 135, I'm just gonna go for a set of 6. And you're already lowering. So my next point is progressive overload every single week. So either that be through reps or through actually increasing the weight. And to increase the weight, you wanna make sure your form and rep range is very good. So I hit anywhere between 6 and 12, but on heavier compounds, I'm sticking between that 6 to 8 range. Once I'm at the 8 range and my form is great, I could bump that up even by 2.5 pounds or 5 pounds. It doesn't have to be a huge bump, but if you add like 2.5 pounds each week, you're already up 10 pounds on your bench in a month. And that's pretty freaking good numbers. So that's exactly what I do. Again, leaving 1 to 2 reps in reserve. A lot of people say train to failure, but this honestly lowers your recovery. But with that being said, I would train closer to failure, but still leaving 1 to 2. So if you're in that range between not being even close to that 1 to 2 or at failure, I would try and lean over more to this edge, just because a lot of people are under training. So if I say leave 1 to 2 in the rep, you're going to be way over. So you're going to have like 4 in the rep range instead of actually training to failure. I'll release some videos of what actually training to failure looks like. Stop chasing soreness. So all of that is junk. You don't actually need to feel sore to have a good workout. No junk volume. So don't do any excessive reps. So don't do any like 5th reps, 5 sets. I know a lot of people are hitting like 4 sets of 12. You honestly don't need to do that. Just hit 2 good working and effective sets. That was the whole point of this entire thing. Effective is the key here. Okay, going into a deload, you could run a deload every 6 to 8 weeks, but I kind of recommend almost not doing that, because you're always going to have things at work or life that pops up that you take a week off, or even if you get sick, then you would use that as your deload week. Okay, so you don't need to actually be training a deload, but if you're sick or something, use that as a deload. Deload just meaning you take your whatever workout you were doing and you tone it down, maybe even by like 50%. So you're not training as hard, you're letting your body recover, because our body does need proper recovery. Okay, moving on to dieting. Dieting is super important. This is actually 80% of the work. So if you're like trying to out-train a bad diet, you're never gonna make it. If you could only focus more on one than the other, I'd recommend focusing on dieting. So hit that 80% on dieting, make sure everything is clean and locked in. And for your training, you can hit 20%, even like a home workout over 20 minutes, 3 times a week, you're gonna get into great shape. Okay, so the whole point of here is to feel your workout and get lean without actually crashing and feeling like you have no energy. I know a lot of people go on diets and they're just crashing. They feel like they have 0 energy left. And if we're working 8 to 12 hour days, we need that energy. We need that strength. So the goal is here is to not crash out, basically. So quick rule of thumbs, you need protein at every meal. Not a lot of people say this, but how much protein is actually good. So if you're not gonna track, if you are tracking, you should be hitting 1 gram per 1 pound. So if I weigh 180 pounds, then I'm having 180 grams of actual protein. That doesn't mean my chicken weighs 180 grams. It's how much protein is in that chicken that will then contribute to my total grams. But just because I said we're not tracking, I'm not into tracking. I'm busy, I'm on the go. Who wants to track that stuff? So the way I do it is kind of a palm size of protein. So if I have my circular plate, a palm size is what's going to be my protein. My carbs is going to take up a good portion of that as well. And then you want like a thumb size of fats for that. So just any type of cup for your fruits and vegetables, maybe toss in a potato, like a good cup amount. And then my protein is a good cup size for my hand here. And then my fats want to be thumbs. So you need to be able to balance all those. And I would look into each meal like that. So if you're going to eat 3 meals, split up each meal exactly like that. So here it goes into how much protein you should actually have for your body weight. Again, we're not really tracking. So how do you even know 1 gram? Just try and hit this palm size of protein here. And carbs around training are hardest parts of your shift. So you can do this, try and carb time, but it's honestly not like the beyond all of everything. So if you're just getting your carbs in throughout the day, maybe keep them towards training, which is what it's saying here, or kind of like the hardest part of your shift. So if you're working 12-hour days and you find like towards the end you're burning out, kind of try and save the carbs there, because carbs are just your energy. You need carbs for energy. Your protein is what's going to repair the muscles when we break them apart in the gym. So the protein will bring them together. Carbs is your energy to be able to go into the gym and rip those muscles apart. And then fats, you need them for healthy hormone regulation. So hydrate aggressively. Yes, this is one of the biggest things that will actually affect your performance. If you're not drinking water, I know a lot of times on the job, you actually forget to drink water because you're doing stuff, you're busy, you're not thinking about drinking water. So either buy a big water bottle that you can kind of just carry around and sip that throughout your work, or make sure like every meal you have, if you have like 3 or 4 meals, kind of just chug some water along with that meal. Hydration will be super important. And here I also mentioned drinking electrolytes. So it's not just drinking a lot of water, you need your salts, your minerals, all your electrolytes to actually be able to replenish those in your body. Okay, and then one of the biggest tips is eating similar meals for simplicity. So if you're almost eating the exact same thing every single day, that's gonna save time from like not knowing what for supper is. So if like tomorrow you're like, oh, I don't know what's for supper, but if you kind of have the same structured meals each meal, so breakfast the same thing, lunch the same thing, and supper the same thing, they don't have to be exactly the same, but as long as it's relatively the same, and you can change up the carb source, you can change out how you make the meat, but as long as it's roughly the same, like keep it interesting, but not where you're changing up every single day. And one day you had pasta and next day it's like zucchini or something like that. Like don't off it too much as long as it's somewhat similar. This way simplicity allows you to stay consistent. So you're just not jumping all over the place. You kind of have the same structure of what you're supposed to have, and you can just change or vary small little items to make it easier. Okay, and one of the biggest things when you're losing weight, don't go into extreme deficits here. So by deficit meaning when you're trying to lose weight, you have your maintenance calories, what your maintenance is. You can just type into a calculator or time your body weight by 15. This will give you a maintenance, what we call maintenance calories, which is how many calories your body just burns throughout the day. So you going through work, you doing whatever you need to do. If you eat at that, you will stay the same. If you eat above that, you will gain weight. And if you eat below that, you will lose weight. So extreme deficit is when people go beyond like a 500 calorie deficit. And this will just make you lose weight, yes, for sure, but you'll feel like crap. You'll feel like crap in everything, your energy, your sleep, your mood, everything will be like crap. And if you're aggressive cutting, this is okay. But if you're just trying to lose weight and be able to work your shifts, you're gonna feel like crap and it's just not gonna end good. And then a lot of people just end up rebounding and gaining all that weight they lost back and then completely quitting the diet because they couldn't see any results. So don't go into extreme deficits. Anything over 500 is a little bit extreme. You can kind of play around to 700, but I wouldn't go any further than that. 500 will make you lose a pound a week, and that's roughly what we want. Okay, and then the biggest thing here that I see a lot of people fail is the weekend control, okay? Weekend control is crucial. We talked about why a lot of people fail back here. So this is why a lot of people fail, this constant weekend drinking cycle. So if you're not going through the weekend and treating it like your week, you're not gonna be able to lose weight. So if during the week you're in a perfect deficit, so to lose 1 pound, you need 3,500 calories in the deficit to burn 1 pound. So if you're in a 500 throughout the week, if you're missing those weekends, you won't lose your 1 pound a week. So stop crashing out every weekend, stop eating sweets, stop eating all that sugar processed junk, stick to whole foods and make it easy. Treat your weekend the exact same you would treat your week. So you wanna go 7 for 7 through the entire week. If you're just doing the 4 to 7 days, like I said, crashing out every weekend, going out with your buddies, eating a massive plate of nachos and drinking 10 beers, you're not gonna lose that weight. Try and cut that back. Maybe you're not gonna be perfect exactly here. You're not gonna be perfect, but you could definitely try and cut that out. So maybe not have 10 beers, cut it out to 3 or 4, only do shots, something like that. Small little changes here and there are gonna make the biggest difference. Okay, moving on to identity shift. You need to have an identity shift. We need to get rid of this version that you are now to be able to build that 2.0 version that effectively we're trying to get. So you got to change your mindset in a way that you become someone else. This version of you has to be removed. You cannot be this version because this version has ultimately led you to the results that you have now. So you need to completely get rid of this version to build in this new version. So the biggest thing is we need to stop relying on motivation. This motivation is not real. You need to rely on discipline because when it's 4 in the morning, you have to get in the gym, it's minus 40, you have a 12-hour shift of just crap to deal with the rest of the day. It's not motivation. It's discipline to get up every single morning and do this and go to work and be able to eat healthy and clean. So motivation is not real. I've seen a lot of guys ask, how do you stay motivated? It's not about being motivated. It's about being disciplined and doing the right thing regardless of how you feel. Okay? Train even at 70% of energy. So training even when you feel like crap, even when you had those long shifts, even when work was awful, still get a workout in. If you have 70% of energy or more, you got to hit this workout in. There's no skipping. There's no relying on motivation. I'll do it tomorrow. Get it done today. Okay? And one of the best things that I've ever learned was never miss twice. A habit missed twice becomes a new habit. So if your new habit is going to the gym every single day and you miss twice, that missing becomes a new habit. So now your new habit is missing the gym. So never miss the gym more than twice because then you kind of fall off and it goes into like a downward spiral where you don't even feel like going. 2 days felt too easy to miss. So now I'll just miss a whole week and next thing you know, you haven't gone to the gym in months. So that's the biggest thing I've seen a lot of people fail. Okay, so track lifts, not feelings. Exactly. We want to track our lifts. We want everything structured, but not in a way where like I'm calculating every single thing. It's not that serious. We're just trying to get into great shape. We're not trying to be the biggest bodybuilder. We're not trying to be C-bum here. So we're just trying to get into great shape. Track your lift just so you know you're progressive overloading every week, but you don't need to track calories. You don't need to track all this other garbage. We're not data geeks here, okay? We're just trying to get into great shape and making it as easy as possible. Okay, and then next thing, stop negotiating with yourself. So why are you negotiating with yourself if you feel terrible and every time you look in the mirror, you look like crap? Why are you debating if I should have that pizza or not? The answer is no. Like, why is this even a debate? When I wake up in the morning, should I go to the gym? I'm feeling kind of tired. The answer is to go. Stop negotiating with yourself and just start acting. Start doing what you're supposed to do. Like I said, we're trying to get to this 2.0 version. Think of that 2.0 version of yourself. Are they negotiating with themselves? Are they thinking, should I go to the gym? Should I eat pizza today? I'm kind of tired. I should just grab pizza on the go. No, they're not thinking that. They know what they're supposed to do and they are doing the right thing regardless of how they feel. Okay, and lastly, be the guy who trains, not the guy who tries. So be the guy who shows up to the gym, be that guy. So I know we all know like a healthy fitness nut that's like, wow, what they are so healthy. They go to the gym all the time, they eat clean. You have to become that guy. You have to think exactly like that guy so other people see you as that guy as well. So now you're the guy that goes to the gym. You're the guy that's able to train every single day. You're the guy that's in great shape. You're the guy that was stuck with it. You're not just trying, you're getting real results. I know I heard if you try, you won't fail, but a lot of people aren't actually trying. Not trying is like the death of this all. So if you actually try your best, you eat clean, you train every single day, you do what you're supposed to do, you sleep properly, you recover properly, you will get in shape. There's no magical metabolism, my vitamins are off. No, none of that crap is real. Sure, it might make like a 1% difference, but if you do what you're supposed to do, and I know a lot of people know exactly what they're supposed to do, especially because I'm releasing my blueprint here, you will be in great shape, okay? There's no guessing, there's no trying. Do what you're supposed to do. Okay, and finally, let's talk about time management. I know this is a big one with guys working 8 to 12 hour shifts. There's only so many days or hours in the day. Exactly, I get that. I'm in the exact same spot and I'm able to still do it while making YouTube videos for you guys and putting you on some free sauce. So pay attention. Okay, the goal here is to remove the decision fatigue. So remove that being tired all the time. If I go, if I not, if I should just take a nap, go to bed. Okay, this is the goal for time management here. So we're gonna have fixed training days. So like I said, train on Mondays and Tuesdays, skip Wednesdays, Thursdays and Fridays, and rest on the weekend. So those are set training days. You're not missing those. You're not moving a Friday to a Saturday because I know it won't happen. I've been in that situation many times where I'm like, oh, Friday was a busy day. I'll just go Saturday. Saturday hits, I'm doing other things. There's stuff to do around the house. I got things to catch up on for the next week or things I missed during the week, and training just gets missed. And I only train 3 times. And the next week, same thing. And now I'm falling off the wagon. Now I'm going down that downward spiral. Have those set fixed training days, okay? And then if anything ever goes wrong, have a backup 20-minute workout plan. This is simple. You could literally just go on Google, YouTube, 20-minute workout, shed fat. And it's just, as long as your heart rate is high, that's the only way you're gonna shed that fat because your body is working harder to keep you going, so it's gonna burn more calories. So all you need is 20 minutes. If you actually can't get it, you worked a crappy 12-hour, 14-hour shifts and you have nothing to do, you can't even go to the gym, your gym's closed for whatever reason, get a 20-minute workout in. Start going, hop on, do some crunches, push-ups, jumping jacks. If you truly care and you want to get in shape, you could literally get in shape inside your bedroom by doing enough push-ups and enough jumping jacks. You can and you should get in shape. So if you truly want it, you should be able to do it. And then I know here it says gym bag stays in the truck. You should have a gym bag in the truck. This doesn't mean don't go home, wash your clothes. Always have a gym bag ready. So if you want to go to the gym after work, have the gym bag in your truck. Don't say you'll go home first and then next thing you know, you're chilling on the couch, you got a slice of pizza, you're bloated now, you don't feel like going to the gym. Have that gym bag inside the truck ready to go. So as soon as you get off work, you're in the gym. That is a great strategy. And if you're not going to train after work, the thing I recommend is training before work. So if you can't get a workout in after work, you always find that you can't. Wake up 30 minutes earlier, go to the gym for 30 minutes. That's literally all it takes, 4 times a week, and you will be in great shape. That's what I do. I wake up at 5 a.m., I'm in the gym, I'm out by like 6 something, and then I'm at work by 7:45 every single day, and I don't miss training. Okay, meal prepping, you can meal prep, but a lot of times what I mean by meal prepping is actually just making extra meals. So if you're gonna have supper is gonna be chicken tonight, make at least 3 to 4 chicken breasts in that same dish, in that same plate, and that way you could spread it out throughout the week. So if I'm having steak, I'll make 3 or 4 steaks. So that way I know and I have supper. So that way if I'm like, oh, what's for supper? I have 3 extra steaks in the fridge or 2 chicken breasts chilling there, ready to eat, ready to go. So you don't always need to make supper. The biggest thing that I see a lot of people fail is they try meal prep. I'm not into meal prepping. I find that kind of lame, sitting there, cup of rice. Who cares, okay? So just make extra amounts of food. So if you're gonna have rice, make a lot of rice. I have like a big rice cooker and I just cook that up and I eat rice throughout the week. If I'm making sweet potatoes and I'm prepping those, I'll prep like 5 or 6, throw them in the fridge and just heat them up and eat them at work, quickly microwave them and chop it down, okay? So not exactly meal prepping, but making extra meals so that way you can eat throughout the week. Okay, wake up 45 minutes earlier. So yes, this is what I was talking about. Wake up 45 minutes earlier and train early. Okay, so if you're always struggling, you have no energy after work, train in the morning. Get up 45 minutes earlier, go hit a 30-minute workout, feel good, go into work, and then whatever happens the rest of the day, you trained already. So who cares if you had the worst day on earth at work, your wife is nagging, your kids had a horrible hockey practice or whatever it is, you already went to the gym and you're getting into great shape while dealing with all this other stuff on the side, okay? And then treating training is non-negotiable. So this is crucial. So if you're thinking about training and you're like, I'm not going today, what are you doing? Treat it as a non-negotiable. You're not going to miss work. Don't miss training, okay? You need work to build money. You need training to be in great shape. The whole point of this, the reason you're even watching this video, the reason you even made it this far is because you're trying to get into great shape. So if you're just missing training and kind of shoving it to the side, you're never going to get into great shape, okay? That 2.0 version, exactly like we talked about down here. What are they doing? Are they missing that training? Are they negotiating with themselves? No, they're going to the gym and doing exactly what they're supposed to do, okay? So a quick summary recap, minimum effective training, okay? Hit 3 to 4 times a week, 45 minutes or less, 3 to 5 compound, upper, lower, rest, upper, lower split. Dieting is 80% of the work. So if you're gonna do something more than the rest, do dieting, okay? So palm size of protein every meal, and then a cup of either fruits, veggies, rice, anything for your carb source or energy source, and then a thumb of fats. That way you can keep your healthy hormone regulation. Easy, I can give you some healthy diet recommendations, just leave a comment below, or I'm gonna make a next YouTube video will be exactly what I'm eating in day in the life and kind of my day in the life of how I'm staying in shape while working. Okay, identity shift. You need to be able to change your mindset. This version of you now has to be removed in order for you to build this new version. There's some non-negotiables that you can review the video, but basically this version has to be let go so this other version of you can be born, this 2.0 version. What are they doing? Always think of what is my healthy self with that six pack, those big muscles. What are they doing? Are they missing the gym? Are they negotiating with themselves? Are they having the pizza? The answer is probably not. So think of that. Next, time management, okay? You need some non-negotiables. So training 4 times a week, having a backup 20-minute workout plan in case everything goes bad. And if you can't make that work, wake up 45 minutes earlier and go hit a half an hour workout and treat training as a non-negotiable, okay? This is exactly going to lead to your 2.0 version, and always think of what they're doing. And my biggest last tip of advice is consistency over perfection, okay? It doesn't all need to be perfect. Life is messy. Work isn't even perfect. Your love life isn't even perfect. Everything goes better with consistency. So if you try for any of these things, you try for any of these structures that I broke down, and you keep it consistent, even if 1 day or 2 days are off, but you stay on it, you're consistent with it, you will see results. I promise you will see results. Every single time, keep at it and keep going. And if you have any questions, leave a comment below. If you have any new videos or any new things you want me to explain or go over, leave a comment and I'll go over it. Peace. Let's get shredded.